On this episode of MythBusters,
Like that.
sparks are flying
Totally me. We finally get a reasonable experiment here, and he's like,
and trouble's brewing.
I would say that the rig is not safe at all.
Adam finds out that the falling penny myth can really be a pain in the...
oh!
We'll see why these guys don't have their own cooking show. And find out the link between Japanese spies and Lucille Ball's teeth.
The Morse code, like.
Who are the MythBusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage
I always enjoyed seeing Adam in pain.
oh, and Jamie Heineman.
Jamie wants big boom.
More than 30 years special effects experience.
Feel kind of sexy.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. This myth originated in the Big Apple, atop an architectural icon, the Empire State Building.
The myth is that if you throw a penny off of a building this height, that it'll either get going so fast that it'll embed itself in the concrete at the base of the building, or it'll hit somebody in the head and kill them.
Lydia Ruth has worked here for 18 years. She's heard the penny myth many times.
I know one gentleman who worked in the lobby, was with the building from late 1930s, right after the building opened, and he had heard it. So I think it's just one of those myths that belongs to the Empire State Building.
Tossing a coin off the Empire State is not as easy as it sounds. Tall buildings like this can generate their own unique weather conditions. Some updrafts can reach cyclonic speeds.
It's 8 a.m. in the morning and the wind's already starting to pick up. And there's every possibility that if you hurl this thing off the edge of the building, that it'd just blow it back over.
When the wind blows against the face of the building, the wind blows up. And you might have heard the story of it raining up or it's snowing up. Well, that actually does happen. It will blow against the side of the building. There's an updraft. So if you throw something off, no matter how far away you throw it, the wind is going to catch it.
Of course, there's also the possibility that the story might be true, in which case you risk killing some innocent pedestrian.
We need to figure out how fast a penny would be going if it fell 1,280 feet, what kind of damage it would do. I think we need to go back to the shop and test it.
Adam and Jamie need to find out what is a penny's maximum speed when falling. In other words, its terminal velocity. Once they've done that, they'll shoot the coin at concrete, asphalt, and a head made from ballistics gel.
Nice.
Step 1, finding out a penny's terminal velocity. Now, we know a person's terminal velocity is about 120 miles per hour. But is a penny's the same? In his quest to find out, Adam's willing to jump out of a perfectly good plane for the first time. As he plummets, he releases handfuls of pennies.
Well done. How'd it go?
That was amazing. I mean, it's unlike anything I've ever tried before. You really should have done it.
What'd the pennies do when you let them go?
The pennies flew right out of my hands. I opened one hand and then the other, and the pennies just like shot out towards the sky. Out of one hand, they hovered for a second in like the burble above my hand, you know, the air bubble vortex, and other than that, I was traveling way faster than they were. I want to do it again. That was awesome.
The guys have seen complex equations that put a penny's top speed at somewhere between 35 and 65 miles per hour.
I used to be able to juggle them.
But Adam's not taking those figures at face value. He wants to test them in his own penny wind tunnel. At the bottom, wind speed is clocked at 65 miles per hour. Holes in the tube allow the air to dissipate, so the speed at the top drops to 35 miles per hour. If the penny stays in the tube, then the equations are correct. Bingo! Adam's one happy Mythbuster. If only Jamie were as excited.
This matches the math, the complex equations that we have showing the velocity. I think we should go for a worst case scenario, like 65 miles an hour.
Okay, works for me.
This is excited, Jamie?
Yeah, this is
We got a
Jamie.
world first. It's going out on television that we did the experiment that showed exactly how fast a penny goes. No math, no ideas, no timing off a building. We got it right here in the lab.
That's great. Good job.
Totally me. We finally get a reasonable experiment here, and he's like, well, that's great. You know, it's like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna please the guy?
I don't consider it an enormous feat to be able to, elevate a penny in a wind chamber.
On that note, the Mythbusters go their separate ways. Jamie's looking for a way to fire a penny at 65 miles per hour, while Adam begins work on the dummy head.
I decided to use the staple gun because, when we're experimenting with things here in the shop, a lot of times I don't like to go through a whole elaborate process and days of machining something only to find that it was the wrong approach or didn't have the right speed. I like to kind of find something that will allow me to move into it quickly.
To make the penny fit in the staple gun, Jamie lops a little off each side.
Whoops. We should get out of here. That's mercury vapor there.
Okay.
Well, the good news is it works.
I guess I should look up before I shoot those things. Well, that worked.
Next, Jamie has to measure how fast the penny is going.
We've taken a staple gun, like what you would have in a normal wood shop. We put it in front of a chart that we can track the speed of the penny with. We've got a concrete block and a high-speed camera. So we've modified this staple gun to accept the penny. We're firing it and tracking it, recording how fast it goes based on this information.
It's time to see if Jamie's penny can achieve terminal velocity.
Okay, firing.
The modified staple gun blasts the coin from 3 feet at the concrete block.
Look, you can see the penny imprint.
The penny traveled the 3 feet in 16/500ths of a second.
The rig has shown that we can fire this penny at about 65 miles an hour, which is at the upper level of what studies have shown that the terminal velocity of a penny would be.
Jamie's strong points are that he'll try a solution that seems ridiculous, chewing gum and nails to do something, and it will seem really inelegant, but he'll have grasped by trying that a central thing about the mechanics of what he's doing. And his solution, therefore, it won't be too clever. It'll be very unadorned, very simple, but it'll work.
But the staple gun's not perfect. It has to fire a whole penny.
Obviously, it was really easy to nip the corners off of this penny to make it fit in the gun, and it's not that much different in mass than what a real penny is. So I'm pretty sure, based on that if I widen the channel or the throat of this staple gun, that I should be able to make it fire a full-size penny just as well and with the same kind of speed. Well, it took relatively little work, and this is it's a high-velocity penny shooter. Terminal velocity gun right here.
Meanwhile, Adam's mood has changed dramatically.
Screw. No, that's total wash. I'm going to argue against this. I don't have it today. I'm just going to get really frustrated.
He's vacuum forming a mold to make the Ballistics bust.
It's a female skull, which is why I used the female head here.
The skull is placed inside the mold and Ballistics gel poured in around it. When it sets, the gel has the same density and elasticity as human flesh, which is why the FBI uses it to test weapons.
Screw.
The mold has sprung a leak. Paper toweling and glue stem the tide of gel. Most coins thrown from the top of the Empire State Building don't get very far. They wind up here, just 5 stories down on the 81st floor. It proves one thing, though. A lot of people have heard the penny myth.
So it would seem that even though the myth is prevalent, people are pretty cavalier about testing it.
Yeah, they do it all the time, and it scares me because if they really thought that their penny was going to kill somebody, what are they thinking?
And it seems penny-related myths have always had plenty of currency.
Pennies have long been associated with luck. In this case, really bad luck, but normally very good luck. If you find a penny, pick it up, and all day you'll have good luck. If you pass up a penny, you'll lose $1. If you find a penny that's heads up, it's particularly good luck, and you should carry it with you as a charm. A bride should always have a penny in her shoe, and following the wedding, she should take that penny and get it made into a piece of jewelry, a pendant or a bracelet or something like that.
Back in the workshop, Jamie's showing off his penny gun. Adam can't hide his approval.
Oh my God. Damn, that is some serious impact there. I mean, are you sure this is 64 miles an hour?
64.4.
Of course, now he wants to have a turn. He also apparently wants to do his own narration.
Adam loads a penny into the lethal penny shooting device.
This time, the penny is launched at a block of asphalt. The penny bounces right off. So the test shows that a coin traveling at terminal velocity cannot penetrate concrete or asphalt. But what about flesh and bone? Remember, the penny myth talks about a penny shattering someone's skull. Enter Norma, Adam's ballistics dummy. Norma's cranium will take the full brunt of a penny traveling at terminal velocity.
Lights. Perfect hit. Lights off. Yep.
The penny broke through the thin layer of ballistics gel, but the skull is intact.
So, you ready to put that to the ultimate test? We've tried it on all the other stuff we've got. Want to try and catch it in your hand?
The penny is leaving an imprint in the concrete when it hits, so, you know, I'm a little hesitant about catching it, actually.
The MythBusters are about to find out what happens when a penny traveling at 64 miles per hour hits skin.
I'll do it.
Okay.
But you got to do it too, otherwise, you know, you're like a wuss.
Okay, you first.
Okay. Still a wuss.
I'll kick your ass.
Penny for your thoughts right about now, Adam.
I'm scared.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Ow! That didn't actually hurt that much. We can try again. Okay.
Looks pretty good. Are we ready? Ready, Adam?
When you are.
Okay, 3, 2.
You hit me in the same exact place. It didn't hurt that much before, but now it really hurts.
Oh, you baby. It looks like it's swelling.
Yeah.
It stings, but there's no bruising or broken skin.
Well, I always enjoyed seeing Adam in pain. I'm not sure what it is.
All right, Heineman. Are you ready?
Now, it's Adam's chance for revenge.
Go.
That was totally off.
I felt it on my wrist.
If it hurt, he's hiding it well.
Adam.
And you know how Adam wasn't having a good day? Well,
Go ahead, shoot me in the ass. Come on. I can take it. Oh! Oh, man. Ouch. Oh.
Well, you said I could.
I did. No, I was prepared for the consequences. Whew. So you made that great gun. We made the pennies go 64 miles an hour. What did we end up with?
Well, it didn't penetrate the asphalt. It didn't penetrate the concrete. It didn't penetrate the skull of the ballistics dummy. And it didn't hurt your butt.
Thank goodness.
I mean, it kind of stung when we hit the bones on our hands. But, you know, the myth's not looking good.
but that doesn't faze the MythBusters. It's time to see how fast a penny has to go before it does serious damage.
You know, anytime we get to play around with explosives and gunpowder and, you know, cool weapons and things like that, here at MythBusters, we're happy campers.
Adam's modifying a high-powered rifle so that it will expend a penny.
That's not chambering around, I'm just test firing.
The coin will be fired from a special aluminum barrel attached to the rifle like a silencer. The rifle itself will be loaded with a blank round. When it's fired, the expanding gases from the cartridge will explode along the barrel, propelling the coin from the slot with bullet-like speed. It's a bold plan and a potentially deadly one.
We're live.
Jamie's far from convinced.
I would say that the rig is not safe at all. There's a significant chance that there will be an explosion, and either the breech of the rifle will blow out, or what may well be likely is that the whole head of the rifle, the device that Adam has constructed on here, may just shoot off the end of the rifle.
Well, Jamie, take cover, because Adam's taking aim.
All right. Firing. And 3, 2, 1. Well, that seemed to work like a charm.
Look at that imprint. You can clearly see where it hit.
The penny is shot from the slot at almost 3 times the speed of sound.
The high-speed camera result apparently is 3,000 feet per second.
That's like a bullet. That's the speed of a bullet.
The coin still did not end up embedded in the block.
Where's the penny?
This is one penny, however, that has been well and truly spent.
The detail on the face of it is flattened. Work like a charm.
And Jamie's forced to eat his words.
Yeah, congratulations, Adam.
Thank you.
I wouldn't want to get hit by that thing.
1 penny down. 1 to go.
Even at supersonic speed, a penny weighing just 2.5 grams simply doesn't have enough mass to break through concrete or bone. Unlike, say, a real bullet, which in this case is 6.65 millimeters of solid lead. The penny drop myth isn't worth a dime.
Oh man. I hate when that happens. Eliminating all the things that are in the penny's way from just reaching the ground. 64 miles an hour just wasn't enough to cause any kind of damage to a person. And then when we made it go almost 3 times the speed of sound, it still wasn't enough to break the bones.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing I can come up with is if you were looking straight up in the sky and you got hit in the eye, it probably wouldn't be very good for you. But even then, I don't know whether it'd take your eye out.
I think we busted the heck out of this one.
Myth busted.
Yeah.
That's really disgusting.
What sort of foul play is this? Chickens soaking up the rays on a tanning bed? What urban myth could be solved in such a paltry fashion? The humble microwave oven. Is it a handy cooking device? Or mysterious machine with dark and frightening powers?
Microwaves just seem to be magnets for urban legends. So we're going to put some of the main ones to the test.
Whoa! You are the man.
Of all the myths surrounding the microwave oven, none is more famous than the story of the Poodle, sent for a spin in a microwave to dry its fur. The result? One hot dog. Well, meet Jazzy, a 2-year-old show poodle. Jazzy's being groomed for her MythBusters guest appearance, so we'll come back later to check how she's doing. Meanwhile, it's time to turn up the heat on microwave myth number 1. 30 million Americans tan indoors at salons like this. And in recent years, one microwave myth has caught on and spread like good quality tanning lotion.
Have you actually heard the myth of the tanning bed cooking the insides of the bride-to-be?
Oh, yes.
There's a woman who's getting ready for a special occasion, and she decides she'll look fabulous in her dress if she's very tan. So she goes to a tanning salon, and she's very annoyed that they have this half-hour daily limit on tanning. So she goes there, and then she goes to several other places and basically is tanning for hours a day. After a few days of this, her husband says, "Honey, you smell kind of funny. So she showers, you still smell kind of funny. So she goes to the doctor, and the doctor does numerous tests, upon which he finds that she's microwaved her internal organs and only has 2 weeks to live.
Rick Mattoon is director of the National Tanning Training Institute.
How many different versions of the story have you heard over the years?
We have a tendency of getting a different version about every month for about the past 4 years that I've been involved in the indoor tanning industry.
Do you keep an archive of all the stories that you've gotten?
I do, and it's very interesting. It's picked up typically anywhere, or it grows anywhere from the local level to a national level. And bottom line is, it always has a tendency to go back to the microwaving theory or story.
Can a tanning bed act like a microwave oven? Will overexposure result in a baked bladder as well as a golden glow? How are Adam and Jamie going to test this myth? The simplest way would be to strip off and submit to the simulated sunlight. But they don't look like the tanning types.
No, I think it's really quite obvious that I don't tan. Not at all. Just why I've got to wear these glasses in the sun.
So that explains why these chickens have been plucked from the local deli. They'll give the birds 4 straight sessions on the bed and see whether or not the result is lunch.
This is right up there with one of the weirder things that we've had to do. Trying to put a dead chicken in a tanning booth? Hello?
Time to see if the chicken's goose has been cooked.
So how many sessions did these go through?
4 sessions, a total of 48 minutes on the tanning lights.
So if I'd been in here, I'd be pretty badly burned by now.
You would have a severe sunburn at this point.
But would your gizzards be goners?
Not at all. Pink and perfect. Not cooked on the inside at all.
Basically, there's no difference between overstaying your welcome on a tanning bed and spending too long in the sun.
Now, this story has been told and retold so many times, it's a very popular narrative. Indeed, it was published in at least 2 Dear Abby columns, so it's got a lot of veracity. A lot of people believe it. Also, the industry magazine, Tanning Trends, had to publish an article telling people that it's not true, don't worry about it, but clearly the narrative is still out there.
Do tanning beds put out microwaves?
They put out nothing of the sort. They put out light waves, and that's all there is to it.
Besides, for the myth to work, microwaves would have to cook from the inside out, and that's easily tested. Simply throw a roast in a microwave for 20 minutes and carve.
Look at that. I mean, it's totally cold on the inside. It's not heating from the inside out. It's definitely heating from the outside in.
Yeah. The myth is totally busted.
Apart from testing these microwave myths, Jamie also wants to build the microwave oven from hell. Let's take a moment to find out how microwaves actually work. A microwave oven uses radio waves to cook food. A device called a magnetron bombards the inside of the oven with radio waves, which react with water molecules in the food, causing them to vibrate at enormous speed. That friction creates heat, which cooks the food.
The Amana radar range microwave oven is quality.
In the early days, it was hailed as a revolutionary kitchen
It's
convenience.
a family-sized turkey. 675 watts of cooking power means faster cooking than most other microwave ovens. Uses 50 to 75% less energy than a conventional electric range. 5 and 30-minute timers with automatic defrost cycle.
This store has been selling microwaves ever since those heady times.
The main thing I'm interested in personally is raw power.
Well, the average microwave today is about 1,100 watts, but you can go up from there or you can go down from there. How many people are going to be using the oven?
One very strange television show.
Just one.
Is this the soul of the microwave oven?
More the heart of the microwave. This is a little radio transmitter, and you plug it in and it converts it to DC voltage, and out comes the microwave.
And it looks like Jamie's suffering a little microwave madness.
Sorry.
Did you get enough, Jamie?
Microwaves are really cool, you know, they're like X-ray guns. And I think the same thing that makes people afraid of them and makes them generate a lot of myths about them is what's always fascinated me. I'm gonna, you know, make this super powerful microwave gun that I can heat things up around in my shop with. And, you know, that for me is a lot of fun.
I think he wants to take apart all these microwaves and make some kind of super microwave. And I don't know if he's planned on shielding or anything, but I don't necessarily want to be in the building when he does it.
Back at the workshop, it's time to test microwave myth number 2. That microwaving metal makes the oven explode.
You know, I once had a roommate where I accidentally put a spoon in my coffee cup in the microwave, and he refused to use it ever again. Made me buy him a new one.
Wow.
It's just those kind of misconceptions I want to clear up here on MythBusters.
Yeah.
There you go.
Adam and Jamie are going to microwave several metal objects. Just in case something dramatic does occur, the pair will watch from behind a Lexan shield. Lexan is a bulletproof material used in the windshields of NASCARs. It's time for the first metallic test subject. No, nothing happening there.
Spoon's been in there for 2 minutes. I don't see nothing. Turn it off. So, I mean...
I'm guessing if...
Ah! Ooh. The spoon was really hot. That spoon was really hot, but it didn't do anything.
Okay.
I mean, it didn't arc, it didn't, like, buzz or, you know, all that stuff.
Something else from the silverware drawer, perhaps?
Fork in the microwave.
Maybe the sharp prongs will cause sparks to fly.
Oh, yeah, that's thrilling.
Not a thing.
Adam and Jamie have heard that tin foil scrunched into a ball can have an effect.
Oh, that's cool! Looks like something out of Star Trek.
It's beautiful, actually.
Now,
Really?
that's interesting. The microwaves are causing an electric charge to build up in the metal. Scrunching the foil allows the charge to jump the gaps. Jamie tries again, this time folding the foil into an accordion shape.
Whoa! The Heinemann with the precognitive technique. Look at that!
That's the best.
Dude, you are the man. It just goes.
Spectacular, yes, but explosive? No. A warning though, microwaving metal might result in magnetron meltdown.
So metal in a microwave, is it true or is it false?
Well, that's false with provisions. Only in the case of an object that is made out of metal that is contacting the sides, you can create some arcing there that would feed back into the magnetron and reduce its lifespan.
That's 2 myths done and busted. Meanwhile, what's Jamie up to? Does he have a screw loose? Jamie's harvested the magnetrons from 4 microwaves. Looks like he's serious about building that super microwave machine. Scary stuff.
Microwave oven.
So we know metal won't turn your microwave into a bomb. It's time now for Adam and Jamie to investigate a microwave myth that is potentially lethal.
If you overheat water in a microwave, you may take the cup out of the bowl and then the water is going to explode in your face, injuring you or burning you in some horrific way.
We're gonna time how long it takes to bubble.
After a little research, Adam and Jamie know that the only way water could explode is if it's being superheated, that is, heated beyond boiling point, without actually boiling. Tap water always boils because it has impurities. Distilled water has no impurities. That means no boiling.
Yeah, the smaller experiments, you know, they look a lot simpler because they're tabletop, you know, we have small amount of variables, and really invariably they turn out to be the most complex and difficult ones to get a real result from.
They put 2 cups of water in the microwave, 1 distilled, 1 tap. When the tap water boils, they'll know that the distilled water has become superheated. Just dropping in a sugar cube should make the boiling process happen instantly and violently.
Hey! Spectacular.
That would suffice.
That was exploding water?
It erupted, it left the container.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of it.
If someone were holding the cup, they would definitely have severe burns. But if straight tap water can't explode, how likely is it that people will be scalded by exploding beverages?
On your average day in your average house, it's not very likely. However, with the hundreds of millions of people using microwaves every day to boil water, reboil water, I'd say it could happen a few times a year around, around the world. Myth, absolutely true.
Finally, Jamie's finished playing Dr. Frankenstein.
What we have here is a super duper microwave oven. I've taken the guts out of 4 microwaves, the magnetrons, and I've put them in a box, all aiming at a single glass of water. So in theory, this should heat up that glass of water about 4 times as fast as a regular microwave would. Maybe it'll just go, we'll find out.
Jamie, I'm ready to test this infernal machine of yours, but could you wrap me up a little more? I don't feel quite safe yet.
What are you, a turkey?
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
I know, this could be a wonderful mousetrap.
I'm not sure he's evil, and I'm not sure he's a genius, but
We're ready for a mega microwave test firing.
What, about 30 seconds?
Jamie flicks the switch. The room's filled with an angry buzz.
How come my watch has stopped? I'm gonna give it.
What on earth is happening behind those metal walls?
let's put the temperature probe in.
That doesn't look like it's boiling.
No, in fact, 66 degrees. You've made a refrigerator.
That's amazing.
For all that humming, you ended up with bupkis.
Looks like that's the evil genius theory out the window. Time for the final myth, the famous poodle in the microwave. It's the moment of truth for our guest star Jazzy, who's been primped and preened to perfection. Or is it?
There's some things that even we on MythBusters can't do, and I think this is one of them. There's just no way that we could put a poodle in a microwave. It might dry her hair, but it'd kill the dog.
Fortunately for the viewers, this one's just gonna have to remain a legend. The story that we're looking at is from 1942.
One of the most bizarre urban myths of all comes from wartime USA and involves America's queen of comedy, Lucille Ball.
I had some dental work to be done. You know, they put in temporary fillings. I was just driving along, and a road that I'd taken many times, and all of a sudden, I heard music. But I mean, with a great beat, you know, and I looked down to turn off my radio, and it wasn't on. And the music was getting louder and louder and louder, and I realized it was in my mouth. And it was beating in my ears. I could hear the tune and everything. I recognized the tune.
The following morning at work, comedy legend Buster Keaton offered this explanation for the ghostly tune.
And he said, what street were you on, Moore Park? And I said, yes. He said, you went by the radio station. You picked it up. Well, you got any fillings? I said, yes. He said, you picked it up in your teeth. Well, I could hardly wait to go by there again.
Here's a challenge Adam and Jamie can really get their teeth into. Is it possible to receive radio transmissions through the fillings in your mouth?
We need to get a skull.
2 of the skull's teeth will be given different fillings. One gold, the other amalgam.
Also, obviously have to have some sort of a radio transmitter.
That transmitter will pump radio frequencies into the air around the teeth. A voltmeter will monitor any change in electrical activity across the fillings.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
First question, where are you most likely to come across a spare cranium?
The number 4, the bone room. The number 4, UCSF School of Anatomy. The number 4, UCSF Dental School. I'm looking for a human skull. Do you guys have any skulls?
A rental?
Yes.
Finding a skull is hard enough. Finding one complete with fillings, well, that's another matter.
One with fillings. Would any of them happen to have fillings in them? So you don't have any with fillings right now? There's a dental chair.
Eventually, Adam tracks down a skull. It's his father's. Well, his father owns it, that is. Next step, a little dental work.
Hi, doctor.
That's a grody-looking skull. Okay. That of a real dead person?
Yes.
You bet. not got much teeth left. He has trouble eating his steak these days.
This guy have a name? He's a very dried out teeth.
Smells the same as it usually does.
Yeah. I have 7,000 patients. I'm a practicing dentist. Never in my career of being a practitioner for 30 years had anybody complain to me they were picking up sounds or signals from their fillings.
Lucy, even in her later years, she was always at the dentist. She was always having some kind of dental work. I don't think she was blessed with great teeth.
If anyone should know about the state of Lucille Ball's teeth, it's Jim Brochu. He was her close friend, unofficial biographer, and one of the last people to see Lucy alive.
I spent every day with Lucy from, I would think, the middle of April of 1988 until the next year, April of 1989, when she died.
And her name is Lucille Ball. Come on!
And although the star mightn't have had great teeth, Jim's positive she was always of sound mind.
Lucy had no kind of psychosis. She didn't hear voices. She didn't put her faith in the supernatural.
Okay, Kay, don't be ridiculous. Well, you just met me.
Hey, listen, a chowhound doesn't have to wait for dinner to be hungry, you know.
Phase 2, Adam's on the trail of a radio transmitter.
A little bit of equipment, and I was wondering if you had them.
Now, this has to be easier than getting hold of a skull, right?
2-channel oscilloscope, like a sweep generator, with an oscillator
Wrong.
and an amplifier.
Seems these radio guys just aren't operating on Adam's wavelength.
He had no idea what a sweep generator even was.
This one had you kind of stressed out, didn't you?
Yeah, this one was a real bear, actually. It turns out that it's very difficult, number one, to get the equipment to generate a very powerful AM frequency, because that's been cracked down a lot, pirate radio stations and such.
Like all great stories, the Lucy legend has plenty of details that lend it credence.
Then there was the radio station, which is a 50,000 watt radio station that we understand now that there was some kind of clay in the ground that aided the transmission, that amplified the 50,000 watt transmission. So I associate that radio station as where she heard the music coming from that night as she passed by.
Things might be looking up for Adam in his hunt for that elusive radio gear. The Foothill Swap Meet is a Bay Area institution. Its stalls are a paradise for electronics enthusiasts. If he can't find what he needs here, he never will. Back at the workshop, this brass screen will shield the skull from outside interference during the tests.
The Faraday cage is, it's like a ground. It eliminates any radio waves from getting to the testing equipment, which makes our test, makes us know that our test is happening in a, experimentally clean space.
Of course, it works better if you can get into it.
I locked the door from the inside. All right. There's my Faraday cage. Let's see. No signal on the cell phone. No signal at all.
One theory is that if Lucy's fillings were made from different metals, then they might just have acted as what's known as a point contact diode.
Point contact diode is the basis of the earliest radio crystal sets. In fact, in World War II, soldiers in foxholes built what's called a foxhole radio, which we have a crude model of here, in which our point contact diode is simply a razor blade and a pencil lead.
Two different metals combining to capture a radio frequency.
I hear a buzz.
A pencil and a razor blade and some coiled, some common household objects. It seems unlikely that we could actually hear a radio signal from that, but we can.
Yeah, well, right now we're hearing a buzz. Yeah, We're pulling something out of the air.
Did Lucille Ball's fillings fleetingly become a primitive radio, picking up a signal and broadcasting it into her head?
Tune and everything. I recognized the tune.
One tooth already has an amalgam filling. We need another metal. And Adam and Jamie are going for gold.
That is real gold foil.
The teeth are placed inside the Faraday cage, along with a crude antenna made from a cardboard cylinder and insulated copper wire. 2 probes placed on the fillings will register any change in voltage.
So we're going to inject some modulated AM radio signal and see what the teeth generate on this voltmeter. Okay.
Frank Hausman has more than 20 years' experience in electronics and computer network engineering. He's agreed to become an honorary MythBuster
now, as I sweep
just for one day.
The RF field in that chamber, there's no change in the teeth.
Several radio frequencies are channeled into the Faraday cage, but the voltmeter doesn't flicker.
So if the teeth were acting as a diode, which is one of the theories about how they might pick up radio, we would see a change in voltage, but we didn't.
So, in this test, the fillings did not become a simple radio receiver. But even if Lucy's did, does it automatically follow that she'd have been able to hear the signal? Could our nerves transmit the frequency to the brain? Time to get wired for sound.
You should theoretically hear an audio tone. Just like that.
All in the name of science. All right, I'm ready to take the juice. Are you ready?
It's going to you. You can, you've got 0.4 millivolt.
I get it.
Are you on there?
Uh-huh.
Do you feel anything? Okay. Take one off.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to turn it up to 300 millivolts. This is about the highest voltage I'm comfortable putting out into your head.
Of course, you say that. I'm just going to ask you to bump it up one more. No, I don't feel anything. I've just run it across several combinations of all my fillings.
But what if you had metal somewhere else in your head? In 1981, the Veterans Medical Center in Miami reported a remarkable case. A Vietnam veteran claimed he was picking up radio through shrapnel embedded in his skull.
He started to hear music, and then he became very frightened, very scared. He thought that he may be going psychotic, being delusional.
The man was successfully treated for post-traumatic stress disorder, but still, the band played on. It's the only case of this kind in the last half-century to be published by a medical journal. For Lucille Ball, the radio filling story didn't end when the music stopped. In fact, it got even zanier.
I was going up another street, almost home, and I was passing 4 vacant lots. And as I went by there, I heard, and I'm picking it up on my teeth. I stopped the car. Then I looked around, in the Morse code, like. And I couldn't wait to get back to MGM the next morning and tell the security office, and they found an underground Japanese transmitting radio station. Honest to God.
Is that a great story?
A great story, without a doubt. But Morse code? Tapped out through tooth fillings?
One of the theories is that it could be a galvanic reaction, i.e. that the, let's say you have 2 dissimilar metals in your fillings. You have a gold crown and an amalgam filling, that those in the solution of your saliva might actually be generating a small amount of electric current, like a battery. In that case, the galvanic reaction would be building up a charge that it was discharging, build up and discharge and build up and discharge, and you might actually think that was Morse code.
Jamie and Adam want to recreate what might have happened in Lucy's mouth. It's been a little while since this mouth saw any saliva, so Adam and Jamie are going to sit the teeth in vinegar. Vinegar's level of acidity should make it an excellent conductor.
That ought to be enough for a little galvanic resistance. I have the teeth in solution just so that they're, the metal of the teeth is both in the bath of vinegar and slightly above.
Okay, we'll set some probes next.
All right. We have positive contact on everything here. Great.
Adam and Jamie have heard the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor had just forced the United States to join the Second World War.
It was after they had taken the Japanese out of California and unfortunately put them in the camps.
With people fearing a full-scale Japanese invasion, panic and paranoia raged. Professor Rusty Capps was with the FBI. He now lectures on Japanese espionage during World War II.
There were all kinds of rumors after the attack on Pearl Harbor. There was one I'm aware of a Japanese submarine that fired, and I think the number is 20 or less than 20 rounds into a petroleum tank farm. There were also instances of Japanese trying to bomb America with high-altitude balloons that were going to drop incinerators.
You didn't know how to reconcile this fear. So then suddenly you have Lucy, of all people.
Hey, what am I going to get, a kiss or a quart of milk?
If these incompetent Japanese people couldn't even get one over on Lucy, how could they hope to win out over our American military? So it's really a comforting tale for people of that time period. It's saying, well, they couldn't possibly win.
All in all, I'm quite pleased. Okay.
To test for a galvanic reaction, the probes are once again placed on the fillings.
But now we're seeing 7 millivolts.
Okay, let's see.
And if you lift the probe off,
lifting,
it should go to 0. And there it is.
The fillings, reacting with the acid in the vinegar, are generating their own tiny current.
This voltage would probably be similar to what would be if someone had a meal and their pH of their mouth was around this vinegar, around 4.5, 5.
Right. That's right.
This might exist in their mouth.
That's right.
Was Lucy's spy message nothing more sinister than a reaction between her fillings and her saliva?
So it's possible someone could mistake that voltage discharge, if they had a nerve close to a filling, for something like Morse code. That discharge would be an oscillation and they would feel it. And it wouldn't be pleasant, actually.
A galvanic reaction can only occur in new fillings before the metal starts to corrode. Lucy's fillings were only a week old when the Morse code began to transmit.
It would be more helpful if she actually knew Morse code and was able to translate the message.
In 1994, 5 years after her death, Lucille Ball's FBI file was released to the public. All 142 pages refer to her involvement in the Communist Party. There's no mention of her role in foiling a Japanese spy network.
If it had been true, I can think of no reason why it wouldn't have been widely published. The FBI, you have to remember, like all law enforcement and counterintelligence services, has one basic rule. If it ain't on paper, it didn't happen. And one of the things that she's thinking about, I'm sure, as she comes forward is, well, how about my career? You know, I'm an actress, but if I'm also a war hero, if I'm also able to help the war effort in this way, I mean, it's going to raise my stock dramatically.
I don't know how much publicity this story actually got when it happened. I know eventually there was a Broadway show called Something for the Boys with her friend Ethel Merman in it. And that one part of Lucy's story about picking up the radio signals in her fillings was translated to this musical. I don't think Lucy had a reason to make up a story. I mean, she had a very rich, full life, full of wonderful stories that, you know, she wouldn't have to make one up about herself.
Adam, is the myth true or false?
I think definitively we've shown that 2 different types of fillings do not act as a rudimentary radio crystal, and that there is some potential voltage or battery action occurring if you've eaten a lot of acidic food and you do have different types of metals in your mouth.
It's busted.
Okay, we'll call it busted.
All right.
Thank you, Lucy, for
Pleasure.
talking about
I
this.
love it.
We'll